Welcome to day 5 of the 5-day Get Started Podcasting Challenge. Yes, we are on the last day. You've made it here so far, and now it's time to really dive on in and get editing and sharing your content with the world. So 2 quick things on editing. One, you want to try to actually spend as little time as possible editing your audio. I think that's really the best way to go, is to actually spend the least amount of time possible. And that's for a couple of reasons, really. One, it's gonna save you time. It's gonna be less headache for you if you edit less. But 2, people actually connect with you more if it is a little bit more of unpolished, if you will, or at least not highly produced. That's one of the reasons we found podcasting to be so effective with our clients, is because they're able to create that really personal connection, which you get when you actually are a little bit more raw, a little bit more open, when you say a few times. I know I talked about some of this in yesterday's challenge video, but you want to try and edit just as little as possible. And number 2, actually kind of along the same lines, in saving you time in the editing process, is you want to actually go in and create some stock intros, outros, and a CTA commercial, a call to action commercial for your podcast. And the reason I think you want to do this is because 1, it's going to save you time, but then 2, it's also going to help have consistent branding around your podcast. So you might want to do some sort of voiceover intro. Maybe you find somebody on Fiverr, or use one of the other services out there to actually create a voiceover and a little intro. And I'll include a few links to some great places I recommend in the worksheet and on this page. So if you're looking for those, and if you're not sure how to necessarily go about doing that, I would go check out some of those where you can actually get stock songs, or even all the way into a highly produced intro for your episode. And then you're going to want to have, on the other end of the episode, you're going to have some sort of stock outro. And this could be a completely stock outro, or what we do with some of our clients is we will record a unique voiceover outro, basically the same script except a few slight changes, such as where to find that specific episode's show notes. So yourpodcastguru.com/087 for episode number 87, something like that. And then just play a little song underneath, which would be the same song from the intro. Again, you want to kind of create a consistent branding feel around your podcast. So when they hear that song, they think of your podcast. When they hear that intro, they think of your podcast. So you want to keep that consistent for the most part. Now, the other piece that you can actually have in there was that CTA, that call to action commercial. The reason you really want that is, and basically what that is a 30 to 60 second, could even be shorter if you want, but a little segment that gets placed about 70% of the way, 70 to 75% of the way through your podcast episode. Find a natural break if you can, or actually pause when you're recording, and just, make note of this is where you want that placed. But basically, this is going to be a call to action for someone to go to a specific URL to get a lead page, or to opt in to get a lead magnet from you. So it could be about your resource guide. Maybe say I, for example, have the podcasting blueprint. So I would create a little commercial, talks a little bit about it, maybe a different guy doing a voiceover, or maybe one of our podcasting clients who's used the blueprint and got results. I would do some sort of commercial there, basically encouraging people to go to that URL, to opt in, and to get that resource. We found this to be very effective because, again, it's getting people on your email list. And ultimately, once people get on your email list, if you do things right, you're going to have a higher chance of them becoming raving fans and clients. Now, I always get asked, what editing software do I recommend? Well, really, I think you have a few options. There's multiple out there, so you can use whatever your preference is, to be honest. You just need something that's going to allow you to splice audio files together. And if you want to get to that next level, then there are a few other options. So I recommend GarageBand. If you have a Mac, you can easily get GarageBand for free. So I recommend looking at that. Or Audacity is free as well. That's another nice editing program that a lot of people use. But then the one I really recommend, the one I use, that one that our entire team uses, is Adobe Audition. And that is just a little more feature rich. It allows you to do, especially once you start to learn some of the things, it allows you to do a little more, improve the sound, if you will. And because the different softwares are so varied, and depending on where you are, what you want to pay for, what you would like to use, It would just be way too complicated to explain all of that in one little challenge video here. So what I did is I actually went through and pulled a video from a previous course that is no longer available. And it's all on how to actually edit in Adobe Audition. Kind of goes through and shows you the different features that I use, that I recommend, and just kind of the style that we do when we actually go through and edit podcasts for our clients. So I'm linking that up in both the worksheet and on this page as well. So you can check that out if you actually want to dive in and learn a little bit more how to edit. But because that video was already like 30 minutes long, I didn't want to include that here in the challenge video because we have other things to talk about. So if you need to learn how to use Adobe Audition or another editing software, they're all fairly similar. So that video will actually help guide you through any other software as well. Go check out that extra video. Well, and there you have it. You have now edited your audio. You have your very first podcast episode ready to go. Now is the moment of truth. Now is the time to actually go out and share that podcast with the world. And I don't want you to go and put it up on iTunes or anything yet because we want to make sure that you have other podcast episodes ready to go and kind of go through a launch strategy. And if you go below this video and in the worksheet, there I'll actually link up to a few podcast episodes that really talk about the launch strategy because that's actually kind of beyond the scope of this challenge. But if you go there, you'll find out the different launch strategies, including launch teams and just kind of our general procedure when it comes to launching a podcast. But what it is time for you to do is time for you to actually share that first episode with people. So share it with family, friends, share it with your email list, share it on your social media channels, share it with the Power of Podcasting Facebook group and let us provide feedback. That's really what you want to do right now at this stage of your podcasting journey is to actually go out there and just get feedback on that very first episode. See what people think, see what feedback they have for you, see if they like the direction you're heading, or if you need to maybe pivot a little bit, or just get some feedback in general about how this podcast episode went. So I would recommend you first share it with the Power of Podcasting Facebook group, and especially if you're nervous at all about the episode, share it there first. Let us know. We'll provide you some feedback. We'll give you some tips, give you some things you can maybe change in future episodes or if you want to re-record that episode. But share it there first, get some feedback, and then what I would like you to do is to go to an email list if you have it, or to go to social media. Because you want to start building anticipation for your podcast that's coming out from your audience. These people are already bought into you. They already believe in either you as a person or you or in the product and the brand that you're creating. So it's important that you reach out to them, kind of tease them with this podcast episode, because that's really actually a lot of our strategies when it comes to launching a podcast is to build that into anticipation. And by releasing this very first episode, you're going to start doing just that. So let them know that it's not available on iTunes yet. This is your very first episode you've ever recorded. You wanted to release it to them and get their thoughts on it. That's going to help them buy in. That's going to help them build anticipation, and that's going to help you know what things might need to be changed, to make sure that you're going in the right direction. And I really want to congratulate you on taking this step. This can be a big nervous step for some people. They can be a little hesitant about actually putting their work out there. You've spent time, you've done the planning, you've recorded the episode, you did the editing, you did all the right steps. So now it's just about letting it go. And now it's about shipping that out into the world and seeing the reaction. And so I just want to congratulate you on making your way through the podcasting challenge. You are now officially started as a podcaster. So basically what that means is you are ready to go record more podcast episodes, because you need to get a few more podcast episodes built up before you're ready to launch. But then, like I said, go check that out, and the resources available in the worksheet will walk you through some launch strategies. But you are now a podcaster. You are ready to go. You are started and you're ready to go take action. So go out there and really finish this challenge strong by finishing that editing of your podcast and actually sharing it with the world. go out there, get some feedback on that episode, and be sure to go share it over in the Facebook group. We're here to provide you support, we're here to help you out, and we're here to make sure that you continue to keep that momentum going, that you really continue to take action and keep that snowball rolling downhill, and you will soon be recording more and more and more podcast episodes. Your audience will begin to grow bigger and bigger and bigger, and you will create more and more raving fans, which is going to help you really maximize your impact and your income. So really, it is time to finish strong, finish up this last day of the challenge, and also be sure to watch your inbox, because tomorrow I'm going to be sending you an email that's going to talk about some more of the next steps, where to go beyond this challenge. But again, congratulations on making it this far. It's further than most people make it. You know, many people will stop at just the idea of a podcast, but you've actually taken action. You've continued to make progress, and now you officially have your very first podcast episode ready to go. So congratulations. I applaud you, and I look forward to talking to you again soon.